Welcome to the Roy and Matt Show. And for all the Norwegians out there, Norg vi savin deg som orkinner glip avren.
Ooh, what does that mean?
It means, Norway, we missed you like the deserts missed the rain.
That is the influence of Andy coming back.
That's a... Well, we were...
I feel... Read it. What did you just say again?
Oh, hold on, I just shut it
I
off.
feel the beautiful waterfalls.
Norg... in English, Norway, we missed you like the deserts missed the rain.
I am inspired to run farther now.
As well, you should be. But...
Well, welcome. Hold on. Let's just do introductions. Welcome. I'm Roy.
I'm Matt.
Over here is producer Logan.
Hey there.
And today we have a guest with us, Brad. We'll just come Brad. We don't use last names, although I almost dropped your
Surnames.
last names. Surnames.
You can call me Brad Adams.
Brad Adams. Nice.
That's what I used to say when I would get caught trying to ditch school.
That you were Brad
I
Adams?
say I'm Brad Adams, and
Well, that's an interesting
they
point.
never found me.
Did you ever try to ditch school, Matt?
Yeah.
And did you ever use a surname? Did you ever use an alias?
I said I was...
runner name?
I said I was my buddy Chad. Every single time they caught me, and they'd be like, Matt, we know you. and we know Chad. And I'd be like, no, I'm Chad.
And you're just Chad. And how long what did Chad say?
Well, when he was with me and I said I was Chad,
Yeah.
he'd be like, no, you're not, it's me. And I just
Well,
smiled.
there you go.
When I got caught, they asked me what my name was, and I said I'm Brad Adams, and then they turned to my buddy that was with me, and he's like, I'm Kevin Collins. And he gave his real name still. He hesitated, and then they interrogated him. They're like, who's this Brad Adams guy? We can't find him, when he had to do Saturday school. But he didn't rat on me. He was a...
Wow, that's like
Yeah.
a
It's a
good
team
friend.
Yeah, he
You know what?
didn't rat.
I bumped into my high school principal this weekend.
You did.
Yeah, I was getting my hair cut. And he came in and,
I wouldn't even recognize mine.
yeah,
I would. You know what? That says a lot about you that you even know what your principal looked like. I couldn't pick my principal out of a lineup, but apparently you were in a lineup in the principal's office.
Well, I as much as I like to accept this rabid praise, my wife was cutting my hair, and the gal next to her at the salon,
yeah.
she cuts.
I thought maybe she was cutting your hair in the kitchen, and
Yeah,
the principal showed up. He's like, hey, can I get a sandwich while you're here?
You're like very formal.
I'll tell you what.
I'm going to cut your hair. No, you come to the salon.
If the principal would have shown up in my kitchen, that would have been a story.
Oh, I wasn't expecting you to be home.
This is
going
going
to
to be a raging letdown. But he comes in and Kel goes, hey, do you recognize him? I'm like, why? I know who that guy is. Why do I know him? She's like, oh, it's your old principal. And I started laughing.
Well, what was his name?
His name was Don.
Let's go TP his house right now.
Mr. Don.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Wow, that was a probing question.
But,
You're in trouble.
Well, so
Matt Adams, tell your story.
So Kel's just like, hey, do you recognize this guy? And he's like, I feel like I know you. I was like, oh, I'm Matt. And he didn't have any idea who I was.
Yeah.
And I was just like, do you remember when Tanner hit the game-winning shot to send our school to the state finals in basketball? And he goes, of course. I go, I'm Tanner's friend. And he goes, that's right, that's who you are. And what's sad is he's like the third faculty member from my high school I've bumped into
Yeah.
who remembers me as Tanner's friend.
Well, who's Tanner?
He's apparently the school hero.
And why isn't Tanner on the
The star
show?
of the Disney
Well,
movie.
Tanner should be on the show. He lives in the Bay Area, and so we have to give him the commute. But he hit the game-winning shot to send our school to the state finals in basketball. Only time they've ever been there, and
How'd they do in the state finals?
they lost by 8. I'm making
They get beat by Hickory.
I'll tell you what.
Jimmy Chitwood.
All they worked on was shutting down the picket fence. That's all they worked on.
It was all fundamentals.
Yeah.
That's what it was. 3 passes before the shot.
When I was interviewing for my current coaching at the high school, the vice principal who was talking to me, he kept looking at me like, Mr. O'Hare, it's me, it's Matt, and he's just like, why don't I know you?
It's so funny. We don't drop last names anywhere unless it's like a teacher. Then it's Mr. O'Hare.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I just go Mr. O'Hare, and he's just like, I don't remember him. I'm like, I'm Tanner's friend, and he goes, I love Tanner. What's he doing these days? And I caught him up on Tanner and Mark and all those guys, and he's just like, oh, you're that rowdy kid that was in the stands that didn't make the team, huh? I'm like, yeah.
But now I want to coach.
You got me. Well, I coach soccer.
okay.
So
Oh, totally different sport.
well, let's
Get very comfortable
let's
with that
get
microphone.
into let's get into Brad. Let's get everybody to know.
All right.
Brad.
So how the reason
Get
that we
into me.
the reason that we played the intro the reason that we played what was the music? Play it. Can you play the music again?
Unfortunately, I cannot. I already moved away.
It was
from that.
it was the intro theme to Hulk Hogan's.
Yeah.
I'm a what is
Iconic,
it?
Yes.
You would have
I'm gonna-
thought that this was going to be a very patriotic show, and it probably still could be. But the reason that we chose that music is when Brad was one of my pupils, so to speak. How do you even explain that? I mean,
People's is fine. Just move on.
all right. So anyway, I
You were my youth advisor, and now I am a youth advisor.
you're a
following
youth
your-
advisor now.
Yes, yes, I am.
Did you? Well, I hope you do the things that I hope you do none of the things that I did with you guys.
Yeah.
And
I don't. I only show up on Sundays.
oh, well, I showed up and then I showed up.
They
on,
have other advisors that handle the heavy lifting. I just show up and teach.
So one of the funnest things we ever did is we're struggling to figure out what we wanted to do in our congregation, so to speak. And some kids said we want to do some backyard wrestling. And it was back in the day when kids were way into backyard wrestling and just like jumping off their houses onto tacks.
Yes.
What else? There was like they had all kinds of videos. It was
I think
it was even
yeah.
YouTube wasn't even like
No.
around.
It was like a lot of ladder
we
violence.
We didn't
It
jump on any
was.
taps.
There was like a
There
lot
was
of
ladders.
There was a lot of ladder violence. I mean, I'm just saying that was what was going on at the time.
Yes.
And so we decided to do this, and we had how many quote acts do you think we had in
Oh.
this? It was called the Backyard Bash of
Yeah,
19
I remember doing it quite a few times. I remember
94
videotaping it.
or something
That
like
sounds
that.
about right. That would put me at 14.
14. No, you're older than that. So it was like 96.
Okay, that would put me at
98.
16. 98 would. I don't think so.
You nailed that addition.
Yes.
Right there. So, how many acts do you think we had?
Wait, hold on. I want to get some. I want to delve
I don't
deeper
know.
into this. So you guys would have the kids go home and figure out a wrestling act, then they'd come to the backyard to perform the act.
Yeah,
or were you inventing them all
Oh, we would
together? as a team?
choreograph.
No. I just told him. I said, hey, I called Brad one day. I said, hey, listen, we're going to do this backyard wrestling thing. If you want to participate, get your guys together. And then I had another group of guys that were getting their stuff together. And then we got together in these people's backyard. And we didn't have a
Yeah,
ring at the time,
yeah.
did we? It was just an open.
No, there was like a mattress laying out there.
And,
But it was really free form.
Was there a
It was
was there a
This sounds
folding
like,
chair?
This sounds like 16 now that I'm thinking about it because I had to drive myself to go buy a uniform at the Crossroads Trading Clothes place. Which I
please
think they still
describe
have.
the uniform you wore.
was it a singlet?
It was close. It was like a woman's like skin tight leopard top, and then it was just like black spandex tights, which are all the rage now if you're running and you're a fit housewife. But for me,
Oh, that's right. Back
yeah.
in the day.
But back in the day, no, those were tougher to find. Yeah.
and you probably had like Converse on or something.
Oh yeah, just
a-
like my tennis shoes.
It was so ghetto. I mean, if you can just picture the biggest white
It's ghetto
treasure,
fabulous,
man,
though.
you could possibly imagine this is what was going on. And for weeks we planned this thing where we had made like poles and. We didn't make the poles. We had like long sticks, and we kind of sawed through some of them.
And put them on sawhorses. We had like boards that were already half cut,
Yeah, I mean, it was like totally planned, and
so you could break people through the boards.
Right,
The
and
boards are not the problem. It's landing on the grass afterwards.
which, if you're the advisor, I mean, you're not landing on anything. You're just
Videotaping.
filming this and videotaping it.
What could be your what could be evidence? Exhibit A
Well-
when you're sued for for paralyzing a child.
Now it is, but back
It was a
then
it was a different
you didn't-
time.
Yeah, it sounds silly. It's like 15 years ago,
Well,
but it was seriously a different time.
It was a different century.
It was a different decade. You're right. It was
Yes.
a different century.
Thanks for going shorter though.
It was in a different century, but it was just over a decade ago, and life was seriously different. I mean, I feel like I'm like going back into the 50s. Like life was different back then.
So
but it was.
So I want to know more though. Did
Yeah.
you guys have intro music?
Yes.
Yeah, I could tell you what my intro music is.
What was your
Give it to
intro
us.
music?
my intro?
Hold on, let me guess.
without
Let me
being
guess.
able to play it.
Let me guess. What was your character's theme? Were you a good guy or a bad
Well, my
guy?
character's theme is
dressing.
'cause
You're dressing like a woman.
well, yeah, well,
No,
I was like I had
no.
like a cat, it was leopard print.
Oh,
so-
tell me it was Kiss. Was it something like Kiss?
No, but then
Cat
my
Scratch Fever.
But then my no, my name was Primetime Brad Adams. But then I would give people my finishing move was the PhD, which stood for the player hating degree, which I don't understand how that fit into my genre, but we were throwing this together.
Who did you fight? You fought.
I don't remember.
Did you fight Aaron?
It's possible.
I think you did. So anyway,
But my theme music, did
yeah,
you
go
want
ahead.
that?
Yeah, of
Oh,
course.
yeah.
Was and this is the
Hold on. I still want to be able to guess. Do you remember it, Roy?
No.
Well, then give us a genre of music. I love guessing games.
like hip hop. This is when
So like,
R.E.S.P.
this is
that
like
one.
when Snoop Dogg and
so like
Dr.
mid
Dre were
'90s,
very
mid '90s rap.
yeah,
hip-hop?
mid '90s rap genre.
What do you got?
Please tell me it was Informer by MC Snow.
No,
Oh dang!
I got nothing.
Pop goes the weasel because the weasel goes
no,
pop. It was House of Pain.
no. It was
Cool it now.
no. I think you guys are getting colder. I think you're going in the opposite direction. This was
Wait, hold on.
this
Was it by the Cranberries? Was it?
No, I do like the Cranberries.
So all right, what was it?
No, this was Nobody Does It Better by Nate Dogg and Warren G. Because it comes out, it's such a dramatic opening that like you can come out to.
So
No, that's fantastic.
If we had that to play right now, it would be awesome.
So you got to picture this. It's this backyard. It's this kid's huge backyard, and his parents have just gone, "Yeah, do it. Whatever you
do
want
it."
to do it." And they're awesome. And
that was my favorite part of the last century.
And meanwhile, now as a parent, I won't even allow like a trampoline in my backyard.
no, of course not. Trampolines are death items.
Exactly.
But this was a different century. So, by the way, the kid that put this on now has completely taken wrestling to a whole new level in Sacramento and is like the president and owner of the Sacramento Wrestling Federation, which is an actual entity.
Is that like a WWF type of thing?
Yeah. I mean, they do fundraising, and he is an attorney. The guy who was Josh.
Well, that would come in handy.
Yeah, well now it is. yeah, it's awesome.
Well, if he wants to offer me a contract, I'm currently not. I'm in between federations.
So
Wait, hold on. Can you still perform the PhD?
Oh, the PhD was easy, yeah, because it was a submission hold. It doesn't require any heavy lifting.
There's no gymnastics.
No.
So-
but I did drop a perfect plex on someone too, and that has the capability of going extremely wrong.
it was awesome. So we had these other advisors that were there. Ross Kelly. Well, I guess that's it.
I still talk to him remotely every now and again.
I just talked to him the other day, and he was giving me advice on the show that I wasn't authentic enough, or I wasn't real enough. I wasn't being my true me.
It's terrible.
I know it is
I
terrible.
need to correct that.
So Brad is the first act, and he comes out, and it's scripted. You guys actually scripted your stuff out.
Yeah.
I mean, he almost had it all
You have to, or
storyboarded.
you're going to drop someone on their head.
Well, and they're like doing these dives where their bodies are sideways, and it was fantastic. And then they just kept getting progressively more violent as the day went on. And finally it culminated in this kid Josh coming out, and he's battling, I think, some Hispanic kid, wasn't it?
That's
Really
possible.
a wiry
I
guy.
can barely remember my own match, so you're.
So this was like, seriously, this was like
And I was
15
probably
years
dazed
ago.
and confused after my first act.
Well, anyway, Josh comes out, and he and this other guy just kill each other.
They just decided to fight for real.
It was choreographed too, but it was like full on face open hand hits.
They wanted
to the
to show
face.
that they were serious.
Yeah, and they were. And at one point, one guy jumps out of a tree and crashes through like a fake table. That was awesome. And then
I do remember that.
And then one kid just puts a trash can. I think Josh put a trash can. No. Yeah, that's what it was. Josh put a trash can on this kid's head, on his body, and then took a full folding chair, like a metal folding chair, and just started beating the trash can. And And we have a straight up VHS tape of this, and you can hear Brad screaming, "This is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life! This is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life!" I can hear that voice in my head on a daily basis because it was so awesome. And then the guy got a cut head and he needed stitches. And
What?
Excellent.
Someone needed stitches after this?
Yeah, it was crazy. And then somebody from the church leadership called me and said I should never, ever do this ever again. Ever.
So it was unsanctioned.
Well, the next couple were unsanctioned. This was pretty sanctioned. So, well, and with that, that's our opening segment, and we will take a commercial break, and we'll be back in a few moments.
Sitting here tripping, my mind is blocked. Nate Dogg just spit it, so it's time to concoct. No one can do it better like this two-man.
If you enjoy shows like the Ninth Row Podcast, be sure to show your support by shopping at the Ninth Row Media Amazon page. At no additional cost to you, you can purchase millions of products through Amazon and help support our show. NinthRowMedia.com.
Me and Nate Dogg is a match. Strike two, leave them standing still in their track. Strike three, you can call us 213.
Okay, so we're back, and if you were listening closely to the commercial,
And if you fast forward the commercial, go back and listen.
Now you have to rewind.
yeah, now you have to rewind, because the music in the background to that fantastic ad by that advertiser was Brad's intro music to Backyard Wrestling. Backyard Bash, somewhere in the neighborhood of
Mid-90s.
90s, mid-90s.
Mid-90s teen backyard wrestling. And,
So that's what it was.
and I think we should give special kudos to producer Logan for being able to put that song in there
oh, yeah.
on a moment's notice.
Drop, click.
Okay, not a
Hey.
problem. In the break, we were talking about Brad's loathing for all of our soccer talk, but as he revealed, and we haven't really talked soccer that much. We talked it in the first
Hardly
show.
enough.
Hardly enough. You mentioned the Real Madrid United game a while back.
It's tomorrow. It's on. Oh man, this is going to be airing on
right.
Thursday. So hopefully
It was a Tuesday.
Yeah, it was on Tuesday. Hopefully you remembered. I've checked to make sure it's recording like 10 times in my
Right.
house.
So you don't like soccer in general. You're not going to watch the EPL.
My kids do play soccer, but no, I'm not. I don't.
You don't
particularly
watch it.
like it now.
Right. Well, let's just say why? Not enough scoring?
Well, no. I like soccer. I don't like watching soccer that like has no relevance to me. If you know what I'm saying. Like
Sure.
if I turn on soccer, it's usually two teams that I
Don't
know,
mean
I don't,
anything.
I don't know any of the players.
Right,
And it's
right.
like they have like a championship going on, and then the next week they're playing like
Another championship.
another week for a completely different league or season, and I don't get it.
Oh.
Which is
That's a good point.
Those are fair points because
We probably felt that way at one point in time till you understand that the...
Because here's the trick. If you want to, and I recommend don't get it. If you get into soccer, it's like a drug. It sucks you in and ruins you.
That's another good point. Yeah.
But you got to do homework because are you talking about the European teams or the MLS?
Nobody
Yeah.
watches the MLS. You go to an MLS game, but nobody goes, oh, man, the Earthquakes are playing. I need to rearrange my schedule
Right. That'd be
today.
like watching the MLS versus like.
Like, oh, man, the River Cats are on.
It'd be like watching the River Cats play the Yankees if
On
they were to
TV.
play like the European teams.
Right. But they do. What is interesting is that despite their normal season, they do have these various cups or championships throughout the current season that mean a little bit of something, I suppose.
Well, and it's homework. Just a quick
mean homework?
Reader's Digest version.
Yeah.
You have your league. The English Premier League is what Roy and I follow particularly. And depending on how you place, you qualify for next year's cups. So the UEFA Champions League.
You've lost him already. I can feel it.
Yeah.
He's like,
Facial expressions are not translatable over the air, which
You
is
know what?
to my benefit.
no, it's
Oh,
true.
that's too bad. We could be doing video tonight.
We could be doing video. We'll talk about that in a minute. But there are various cups, and Matt's right. How well you do depends on if you get to play in more cups and generate more revenue for your team, and therefore buy better players.
It's like bowl games in college.
You know what? Awesome point. It is like
Well
bowl
played.
games.
Yeah.
Well played.
But during the
Those
middle
are like
of
the
year.
BCS games.
If you can imagine like a BCS game in like the third week of the season. You know.
Gotcha.
And now he's going, soccer's stupid.
No, it's a different game.
That's what I'm saying. It seems, I can never follow. Like, if it's like all of a sudden a game will be on ESPN and it'll be like, this was for the championship, and then the next week you'll see like other games like playing. It's like, wait, I thought it was over.
Yeah, but if it's not that
It's
big of a
never
deal
over.
of a
It's never
championship,
over. It's like-
if it's not that big of a deal, it wouldn't be the seniors playing. It'd be all of the freshmen that don't really matter if they get hurt.
But my point was, I was trying to bond with you by saying that I do like USA soccer.
Was that you? Were you just saying that, or do you actually get into it?
No, I do. I really do get into
you-
it.
do
And then I
you-
try and like bond with all my friends on Facebook that follow soccer like all the time. And then eventually like I get caught in my own web of lies that I really don't know what I'm talking about.
Well, this is two very good soccer things. One, do you have a favorite U.S. player?
I could probably
so
only name.
throws out the net, and you will be caught in some lies.
there's
I
so
could probably
few to
only name
choose
like
from.
3 guys:
Who? Landon Donovan,
Patrick Dempsey,
Clint Dempsey,
Clint
Okay.
Dempsey. Patrick Dempsey is on what? On Grey's Anatomy.
Huge.
Like I
Wow.
caught in my
Soccer
own
fan.
web of lies.
Wow.
And I like that bald goalie that we have that always seems to do good because we're giving up so many shots.
Timmy Howard.
Yeah, he's good. And I liked our old coach a lot better, that whose son got to play on the team. It made me feel like I like him a lot better than our current coach.
Well, it's because Michael Bradley was an American. Jurgen Klinsmann's a German.
You don't like the Clems?
Is that
I know.
what
I
they're
liked.
calling?
I liked our old coach, and I thought we were doing good. I was surprised that we fired him, but I guess we weren't doing good.
I don't know. We didn't win.
We have
you
that one
know.
really fast guy who's more tan than everybody else.
You can say colors. We say colors on the show all the time. You mean he's a black guy?
Yeah. Well, as my 6-year-old would say, the brown guy. When we watch the UFC, he's like, "Who's winning, the white guy or the brown guy?"
It's, you know.
I'm like, "Well, that is more accurate." I'm like,
is.
and the brown guy's winning
by a lot.
as per
Right.
normal.
So
Well, there's a fast guy who you've never seen play U.S. soccer because he only played for like
Altidore, is that his name?
Josie Altidore. Yeah.
Jose.
Well, it's
Josie.
Josie. Yeah. But
everyone has to be different.
his name's Josimer.
Yeah, you should go by Josie.
Yeah. So
So, well, anyway, you follow the game as long as it's an American sport because it has relevance. Go USA.
Yeah, like when it's on. When it's on, it's usually something important.
So then, do you watch women's soccer?
No,
No. Well, there goes the line right
awesome.
there.
no.
So-
Even though we win all the time in women's soccer,
The
and I
US
should
if you
watch.
watch
And we
the-
have that one. That one girl is really cute.
not Abby Wambach.
No,
He's talking about Alex Morgan.
Alex Morgan is very cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's very good.
Yeah.
She's cuter than Hope Solo.
Hope Solo has an ugly attitude.
Yeah,
She just has ugly attitude.
she's like the Tanya Harding of soccer.
nice.
I don't
like
think
that.
I don't think we could do any better than that.
No, we kind of left off. Where were we with what we were talking about?
Oh, we were talking about we're getting to know Brad.
Brad. Okay.
Yes.
What else?
Mr. Adams.
What else were we saying?
Well, we haven't talked about you have kids.
Yeah.
You have kids, yes.
So we doing parenting stuff?
Let's do so.
I got some parenting stuff.
I got it. Well, you've listened to the podcast. We always try to talk about cool parenting stories.
You have a parenting
Okay.
story?
Possibly. Why don't you guys go first?
All right.
Can I go
ahead.
first?
Yeah, go ahead. I
Nice.
got second. Dibs second.
Dibs on second. The only reason I wanted to go first, and this isn't even my child, I coach high school soccer. Roy's daughter plays high school soccer.
I got two things now.
And we played. We didn't play against each other, but there was a tournament last weekend, and our teams were there in different brackets. And I was walking from. I would watch your guys' game. I would watch Ellen's game, and I was walking from that over to my game, and I bumped into Ellen. And is it a boyfriend? What is this guy?
Oh, I wanted to talk about this too.
What do
well, I guess I have three things.
what is the title this guy has right now?
He's a friend. He's a friend.
He's a friend that comes
Yeah.
to church.
Yeah, he came to church.
Well,
yeah. That's
I
fine.
never went to church
Whatever
for
it
any
takes.
friends.
Whatever it
Well, that's
takes.
actually a lie.
he hadn't
I did.
gone to. All I know is, so I walk up and I see Ellen.
Oh, you're gonna talk about this. Go ahead.
Well, it's my story.
No, go ahead. I love it. It's a good
So,
story.
So I walk up and I'm like, "Hey, Ellen, hey Jill, what's going on?" And
He's a nice kid.
He's
by
a
the
very
way.
nice kid.
He's a really nice kid.
I actually have the utmost respect for him because he laughed at this.
Okay.
Because he goes, I'm like, "Oh, you must be the guy who's been giving Ellen rides home from stuff." And he kind
Powder
of
puff football. and
he
stuff.
kind of looks at me, and Ellen goes, "Did my dad tell you that?" And I totally waved Ellen off, and I put my hand on this guy's shoulder and I said, "I'm your worst nightmare." and he kind of looks at me, and Ellen rolls her eyes at me, and we chat for a minute about the game and soccer and stuff like that. And I go, "All right, I got to run. I got to coach a game. We'll catch up with you guys later. Congratulations on winning because you guys won the tournament.
Yeah.
Congratulations. And
Yeah. Thanks.
So I said, congratulations on
Well, I
winning the
didn't
tournament.
do it,
and I pointed to the guy again whose name I can't remember, and I said, hey, remember, if she
Brady.
cries, I go, hey, if she cries, I'll murder you. And I turned around and walked away. And I walked away thinking, I'm the funniest dude alive. And to Brady's credit, he just giggled and shook my hand. And
Right. And this is
he
why
seems like a nice kid.
No. Then this is why you have friends, because that's something that I would never say. But I'm happy that somebody said it, because now he has like a fear of the whole situation, and I'm not the bad guy. And to Ellen's credit, she thought it was funny, and I think they all thought it was funny. But
I
yeah,
think, would Ellen have thought it was
awesome.
funny if you would have done that?
I probably would have done it. You know what I mean?
Wait, done what? Said that or actually killed him?
Well, you know what? We don't
Sixes.
condone murder. I mean, that's what
Not
we have.
entirely.
That's what we have friends for, and we just give those.
And dumpsters.
We
We'd
give
rather
those
label
signals.
it a disappearance.
We're certainly not going to call it that. So
Mysterious.
yeah, so it was awesome. We've laughed about it numerous times.
Well,
since
what
then.
I want to do is follow up. Did Brady say anything?
He, I just apologized. I said, I hope you didn't feel too intimidated, but we're definitely serious about that.
I think very few people look at me and feel intimidation.
No, I'm sure but
No, I wouldn't say that's totally true.
yeah, you're intimidated.
Yeah, and you're generally a muscular, well-fit guy.
Well fed.
Wow.
Well fed.
Well
Wow.
fit, I said. Well fit.
So that was your thing, right?
I just wanted to hear everybody what everybody thought about it. You have a daughter.
Yes.
Just one?
Do you think it's okay for your friends in the future to threaten the life of their male friends during high school?
Yes, I've already resigned myself to my daughter's going to be completely out of control. Because my parenting gets so lax as my children, as I'm on the third child now, and it's,
Oh, that's right. Your others are boys. So
yes.
you have
and they're spread out so much that they will be out of high school right as she's starting.
You do get a little bit more lax as time goes on.
Oh, I
so
know. My oldest one's the only one that's going to turn out normal.
well, good for him.
Yeah.
And stinks for the rest of them.
Yeah. 1 out of 3 is a good batting average if you're playing baseball. So,
But not so much for parenting.
yeah.
So I have a couple of things. My son Paul and I were watching late night TV. I'm going to tell this story. We were watching late night TV, and when I say late night TV, I think we were watching like the Discovery Channel. I think we were watching Gold Rush or something like that.
Discovery After Dark.
Just not. I don't think we weren't watching
That's
that.
when it gets good.
Anyway, or Axemen or something like that. Anyway, the low testosterone commercials. Come
Low
on.
T.
Oh, dear.
Low T.
They just call it low T.
Yeah, there's low T, and I'm like half paying attention. I'm half watching the show, and I noticed that there you go. If you're suffering from lack of sexual drive or
Erectile dysfunction?
no, it's not erectile dysfunction. Whatever it happens to be,
No,
if you're gaining some weight, if you've had
Check.
muscle loss, if
Check.
you've had what's that?
Check.
Check.
I'm going down the checklist for you.
Oh, yeah, right.
The mental checklist.
So anyway, if your libido is down,
Check.
so he Paul goes. The commercial concludes, and he's like, "Dad, I think you need some low T medicine." And I'm snapping back. I'm like,
Say what?
It's going to
What?
ruin your Hall of Fame chances.
I'm like, what? I go, and I didn't even know how to respond to it. I'm just like I'm like in shock, but I'm like, hey, Mom and I do all right. I mean, we're okay. and he's just like, what? No, I'm talking about muscle loss, Dad. And I'm like, oh, yay, and nice. So that was
Paul.
That's great.
That was one of those.
It's like, we're just keeping it down for your benefit, son.
You're welcome.
It's a small house.
Yeah.
We keep you from needing therapy.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing with Ellen, in the soccer game the other day, she broke her wrist. Well, it turns out today, she went to a hand specialist. He said that she didn't actually break her wrist, and it was just a really,
Sprain.
yeah, that the people who read the X-rays the first time at the Doc in the Box place where we went to immediately sucked at reading X-rays.
What?
I know.
Shocking.
So we initially thought she had broke her wrist, and she said, "Dad," and she came over. Her wrist was just mangled. She goes, "Dad, my wrist got hurt."
I have a picture you emailed me of the wrist.
We might be able to put it up online. The picture of the wrist.
Sure.
So the wrist looks horrible. The whole hand looks horrible and mangled. And she was describing, I knew what play that happened. She got rocked, and she's like, "Somebody stepped on my hand." I'm like, I don't remember anybody stepping on her
Did
hand.
she pretend to be hurt?
No, she's tough. She's
she
tough.
rolled on the ground for an hour and put her hands over her
She never even fell on the
So they
ground.
came out and gave her freeze spray on her hand?
Yeah, we wish.
As a soccer coach, does that ever bother you, the stereotype of soccer players being a wimp?
Oh, all you have to do is go play a game.
If you go play soccer, you'll realize it's brutal. It does bother me that they still.
Basketball does the same thing.
Basketball does
They
the
don't
same
get
thing.
The same route. All the European players, especially.
The soccer players deserve it though because they writhe on the ground for so long. Basketball players sell a foul. If you're going to go to the ground to sell a foul, that's fine. Just get up afterwards and giggle. It's deserved.
I think though that sometimes those guys run around with those full on big super long spikes. And if you've ever had your foot stomped or your ankle bone just like nicked with one of those things, it's just like taking a hammer and whacking it on your ankle bone. I mean, you'll fall to the ground and you'll just writhe in pain, and then it'll go away.
But yeah, like if you watch, which you won't because you don't like it, but if you watch soccer, more often than not, when you go, that guy's faking, and then they show the replay, you go, oh, he was running at full speed, and the guy dove onto top of his foot with spikes. It would shatter. My foot would explode.
Right.
It would cease to exist.
It does hurt.
So
back to my story. So she's like, somebody stepped on my hand, and I'm thinking about the play, and I'm like, I don't know. And she's like, you know what, Dad? I think I might have stepped on my own hand.
Whoa.
Yeah, I think
that's physically possible.
She got rocked, and then she went down with her hand down and her foot down, almost like.
But she's still running.
Yeah, and it was like. It's like somebody spun the spinner and they said red hand on blue. I mean, left hand on blue, and then
left foot on
blue too. But like right after that, and that's what happened. I'm assuming, and so ultimately I said, as soon as she told me, I'm like, you know what? That's awesome because you're Chuck Norris because nobody can kick your butt but you. So I thought that was pretty cool, and she thought that was cool. So anyway. She turns out she's not going to be. Her hand isn't broken. The doc said go ahead and use it, and everything should be fine. Oh, I have one more thing, and then we can get to whatever you have.
Go ahead.
I'm at a scout camp out the other day, and we're sitting around doing talking jokes, and doing jokes.
So if you're a scout leader, we can be assured that we're going to have backyard wrestling and stand-up jokes.
Well, they're little kids. They're sitting around the campfire, and what's really funny is you can attest this. I'm the worst scout leader ever. I don't
have many to judge by, but
we threw stuff.
You assume, yes.
Yeah.
Brad was there when we threw like cans of soda in the fire up at whatchamacallit, and we shot the cans.
My buddy threw a can of off in the fire, like a whole can.
Apparently, your buddy's the worst scout leader ever. But we threw
he was my age though. We were scouts.
Oh,
you were his leader.
I was his leader. So we threw like cans of soda in the fire, and then we shot them with slingshots when we thought that the can should have exploded by now. And I can remember shooting that. That's exactly it. We shot this orange can of soda, and then we just heard this psst, and then everybody felt like lava on their face as this orange soda can just exploded, and we all just we had burn marks, just little tiny burn marks. It was awesome. So
I also like how he asked you that question and not me because he was my scout leader more recently than yours.
Yeah, but we didn't really do any camp
he's got low
outs.
T now.
No,
He's
other
mellowed.
than like
he had
scout
so
camp.
much tea left in his system.
Did you? Were you in the scouts when we were using those things that were PVC pipes covered with pool noodles?
Oh yeah, Boffers.
Okay, I was a worse scout leader
pipe
for
bombs.
you too.
I was gonna say that was pretty brutal too.
Yeah, well,
we're all going gladiator out on the beach
Oh my gosh, that was awesome.
and the airsoft fights.
So okay, I have another thing. So at one point in time, I saw on YouTube these guys made these things called boffers, which were PVC pipes with pool noodles on top of them, and then
To clarify, you're talking about LARPers. They are the ones that did this first.
right. But there's no way I'm LARPing. So
No, of course not.
But this was just Mortal Kombat. So we made like 12 of these things. In fact, I told you guys to go make your own, and then we
Yeah.
went down to the beach and we reenacted like a Braveheart scene. And I have pictures of film of these kids. I even showed it to you one day.
Yeah, you just showed it to me.
These kids coming together in the beach and just beating the holy heck out of each other in the surf. And then we played King of the Hill, and a real life scout troop was over off to the side, and they were in their little discs, and they were like going down sand dunes, and they were pathetic looking, and we were having this all out brawl.
Yeah.
And one kid got knocked out. Sam got knocked out when he got knocked off this sand dune. So their scout leader comes over and he's like, "Hey, what troop you guys from?" And I go, "Well, if you kind of depends on if you approve of what we're doing. We could either be from Sacramento or Santa Rosa."
I'm Brian Adams.
I know.
I'm Brad Adams.
I'm leader, Mr. Adams.
Speaking of reenactment, do you remember when we were playing paintball out in the back of the church?
Also, something not allowed anymore.
And we were. It was with just slingshots. But me and you were sneaking around to do to attack from behind to flank, and we were by this creek. And I go, "Roy, watch this. I'm totally going predator. I'm totally going predator." So I went to jump this creek and grab the branch, and the branch just completely broke, and I just completely fell right in the middle of the creek.
Awesome.
And I'm like, all my paintballs are in my pocket.
They're all just mud.
So now I'm trying to shoot, and they're just popping all in my hand.
Okay, I take it back. I'm just the best scout leader ever.
I think we can agree that you're either one or the other.
One or the other. So
Depending on your perspective.
Well, hold on. Let's
Yeah.
say this. Are you an Eagle Scout?
No.
Are you an
My
Eagle
brother
Scout?
is an Eagle Scout.
yeah.
I'm an
See,
Eagle Scout.
That's a 50% batting average.
So, was Roy your brother's scout leader at any
It's
time?
close enough. We're within like a year and a half of each
Yeah,
other.
I didn't really help his brother get his eagle. I didn't.
I was setting that on the tee for you to just knock it out of the park.
No, there was other people that helped. I mean, I didn't really do that.
You're more into the violent aspects of...
Yeah.
I'm a tenderfoot.
Why are you really?
I'm like whatever zero, whatever
That's
the
what I
bottom,
was.
whatever the lowest rank
I
is.
took
I'm
you
bottom.
I took you to the highest thing that I reached.
Those
which
who
was
can't do
tenderfoot.
teach.
Right, exactly. So this scout leader,
Where's Julie?
ultimately the scout leader, he goes, "What are you guys doing? What are you guys doing here?" I'm like, "We're just, we're doing stuff. What are you guys doing?" And his scouts, he goes, "Are you guys gonna have a pancake breakfast?" I'm like, "No." Because we had a guy that worked for a vending machine company, and he goes, "What are you guys doing for breakfast?" I go, "We have a guy that works for a vending machine company. He brought a bunch of day-old stuff that we ate. And besides that, we're out of here anyway. We're going to In-N-Out, right?" And then
Excellent.
we have bear claws.
we just finished beating each other up, and then we went to In-N-Out, and then on the whole drive over there, we just shot airsoft at each other along the road. And then when we got to the gas station right there, it was before people were getting really scared about kids running around with guns.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago, and we had an all-out fight, airsoft gun fight, in a Chevron station in Fairfield, with just kids running up to other people, just shooting them in the face. It was awesome.
Nice.
It was awesome. What? Right? Were you at that camp out?
I wasn't at that one, but I
Oh.
remember the stories of that happening.
So anyway,
His parents had taken away his permission to ever go on a camp out with you.
Sadly, not that inaccurate.
I do.
I'm kidding.
I will
I
say
can neither
this.
confirm nor deny that.
Sam's mother came up to me. She goes, "I don't know what you guys did at that camp out, but Sam said that was the best camp out
Yeah,
ever."
I was
So
And Sam won't talk about it.
it was awesome.
at that point. I had a job, and that's why I was not on that one.
Oh, okay.
I think you were one of the only kids that had jobs back then.
I was the only one. Yeah.
So the other fun thing I think that we did with Brad is we initially started playing laser tag, and
Yeah.
that was lame. I mean, it was fun because that was the first thing we had ever done, but when we finally decided to play paintball with slingshots, because we couldn't afford anything, And everyone could
But that's
afford
so
a
much
slingshot.
more fun almost. The slingshots.
It
like,
was, and you could play it
Yeah.
behind the church, and nobody's going to go, "Oh, what's that gunfire behind the
Yeah.
church?" You know,
Wait, paintball guns don't they go thump, thump, thump?
We didn't have any guns.
we had no guns.
We only had wrist rockets.
Yeah, we had wrist rockets. That was it.
And those things sometimes hurt more. I mean, I'll be honest. You can crank those things back pretty hard.
It did. I don't think they hurt more. They just.
Mm.
I like it better because you have to actually. You can't just rapid fire.
Yeah, no, it was
Yeah.
like Civil War type of thing.
Yeah.
Dude, we want to know this.
You all lined up in straight lines and shot at each other, then switched positions.
We kind of did. We were up at. We went to like on a whitewater rafting
I know
trip.
my buddy Chris, who's now my brother-in-law. Chris, he wore like full fatigues with like one of those flat-billed hats and a net hanging down from it in front of his face.
Yes.
Also, he could hide in like the one patch of ivy we had.
Back there.
I remember in the parking lot having airsoft Wild Wild West duels, 1-on-1. It was just each of us had a pistol, and it was in our pocket, and we had to we went from nothing to shooting each other up.
If you even with airsoft though, if you wear I don't know, unless you go shirtless, you're not going to get that hurt.
No, but really, I don't recommend playing with either of those without some face protection of some kind. Like you can have teeth knocked out from them. You can jack up your nose pretty bad. I would suggest having face protection with either one of those things.
I have an awesome.
And that comes from the person that lost half a tooth on one of these scouting events due to a stick war.
That was you?
That was
Wait,
me.
hold on.
And I think
Hold on.
that was actually before
So
you were with us.
I want to do my math here. So you recommend eye protection for airsoft because you lost a tooth during a stick war? Did I track with that the right way?
Sort of.
Okay.
You're excluding the other part of the logic, but that's okay.
No, that's the sentence you just said.
No, what I said was that people have lost their teeth and have jacked up their noses from being shot in the face with paintballs and with airsoft guns, and I happen to have lost half a tooth from a similar throwing of objects and object mobbing experience.
Well, that just happens.
Yes, it does.
So you were a scout. What's your favorite scout activity? You weren't. These were ours. What was your favorite scout activity you ever did?
Pinewood Derby.
I don't.
You have two boys right now. In fact, you have a kid that should be in the Pinewood Derby.
I know we missed it.
My favorite scout activity, without question, was invented by these brothers that were awesome.
And
I don't know. It was Ben and Adam. They were the toughest kids I've ever met in my life. And we'd go up counting. We built a fire, and they go, "All right, you guys want to play our campfire game?" And we're like, "Yeah, that'd be cool." We were 13, 14, and they go, "All right, we call it boonie crashing." I mean, what's that? And we all walked up the mountain for 2 hours, just climbed up the mountain that we were camping near. And we're sitting there, like, "All right, first one to the campfire wins." And they took off at a dead sprint down the mountain, and we all just chased after them. And I just remember untold amounts of pain because you're running down a hill at night, tripping over
Sounds
logs.
terrible.
But when you're 13, it's glorious. And I just remember sprinting because I have this nasty thing where I like winning, and I didn't. But I remember sprinting as hard as
You
I
didn't
could
win that game?
and just tripping and tumbling and like coming up, and you're trying to keep running, and then you fall again, and then you wing a tree on accident, and you bound.
And that was your favorite activity.
If soccer was like that, it would be better.
I don't.
If there were obstacles.
I just remember we did it all the time, and we thought it was so funny. And we'd all get back to the campfire and just be like, we'd be so hurt, and we'd be like, "Look at my arm, I am bleeding profuse." And no one ever beat them. I don't know who won. I just know one of
They
those
clearly had night vision.
Yeah. They were. We got sent home from. I got sent home from scout camp. Me and my brother. When we were 12 or 13, I don't remember how it happened. I just know that I was making fun of a kid. This kid was kind of a bully, and he was picking on me, so I started throwing insults back at him, and then he pushed me. And Adam was having none of that, and he flew in and started like a scout melee brawl, and I was not tough, but I was in the middle, like it was happening on top of my carcass. And I just remember punching and kicking blindly. And
You got a red card.
doing the.
You had to go
know,
home.
you know when little boys get so mad and scared at the same time, they're like fear crying. They're like crying and screaming and rage.
That was you?
Yeah, I was like rage crying and what is happening?
You
and
were
just like
you were
just blindly throwing punches.
You were
and
berserking?
crying. Yeah, I was just like I don't know what's happening. And Adam.
I saw that in Walmart the other
Yeah,
day.
Adam and Ben just were beating people up. Like, and I just remember getting pulled off, and we had to go home. We went home like a day early, and I just was like, and everybody was like, "Dude, Matt, you're so tough. You started that fight." And I'm like, "I did."
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
I don't have any recollection of me being the tough person here. I just remember Adam and Ben being so much more hardcore. I want to go Boonie Crash.
That is funny. Well, we do have to wrap up, but before we wrap up, Brad, we in your scout troop, you guys used to jump off cliffs on a regular basis.
Oh, yeah.
There was one kid
Only with water at the bottom.
right. No. Just they would.
Ever any bubbles?
We would always go. We would go up to either Big T or we would go up to the it's it's a big drop off. It's a big rock.
There was Big T and Low T.
Low T. Well, anyway, we had a guy who's unfortunately not with us anymore.
It's a callback.
Ryan isn't with us anymore.
He's not. Yeah.
He's passed away, but Ryan was a kid. Do you remember what he used to say about free falling?
Just point your toes.
Ryan,
It doesn't matter how high you jump from, as long as you point your toes.
So he would go, guys. And he's always very serious. He's like,
Dude.
listen,
Anything he said started with 3 dudes. Dude.
dude. If I don't free fall once a week, I go nuts. Right?
Sounds about right.
He goes, and he's talking about free falling, and he go jump off the Rainbow Bridge, up there at Folsom Lake.
Mm-hmm.
Rainbow Bridge, pretty high. How high do you think that is? It's pretty
50
high.
feet.
It's pretty
It's
high.
more than 50 feet.
52.
I'd say 50 feet.
Anyway, it's high. I think it's higher than 50 feet. Anyway, he goes, I go up
Salmon
to
Falls Bridge is higher. We jumped that one too.
okay.
I've got a crazy Salmon Falls Bridge story.
What for next episode? He goes, I go up to Rainbow Bridge and I go up to the edge and I hang on to the pole,
The light pole.
the light pole.
While the cars are driving by,
Right.
and they would yell.
You wanna-
They would yell at the window, "Don't do it! Don't do it!"
They're like, people's trying to save him. Don't do it. He goes, I just look in their eyes and I let go. And he was dead serious. That's like the thing he gave
yeah.
the most joy. So we go down to San Francisco one time and we're going down in that area and he sees like the Bay Bridge or the Golden Gate Bridge, and what he thought he could make it. He goes, dude, if you just point your toes and you wore tennis shoes, you could make it.
You hit the water like this.
You just hit the water like this. You could make it. And
Well, first off, you'll snap your ankle.
and Brad, I think this is the first time you're just like, no, dude, you can't do that. And it was like a fight. You go, you can. You could make it. If you wore tennis shoes and pointed toes, you could make it.
I mean, you could make it.
You
It's like
could make
it's
it.
like 50-50.
And he had two.
It's not the making it; it's then the swimming to shore. As long as you didn't dislocate anything, too.
You'd just be one big blood trail, and you just eating my sharks.
Yeah.
So, well, anyway, we're going to talk about a couple more of these things on tomorrow's episode. If you would like to join us, we're going to have games, and we're going to talk a few more things about some colorful individuals in our collective past that I think you'll find amusing. Anything? Any parting shots for today's episode?
Make sure you point your toes, I think is...
Just point your toes.
Just point your toes.
Always point your toes.
Always point your toes. And with that, we will see you tomorrow.